Bucchigiri is the currently airing brand new anime original from Mappa that takes the Delinquent series and strips it of all the good things that make that genre fun. And what is left is an anime that just barely passes as a gag series that can't even seem to commit to that, as it poorly presents you a story with characters that honestly feel like they're wasted on the anime itself. There are a lot of things I don't like about the anime, the main character being front and center, but for some reason, I just kept watching. Why is that? Because it felt like it was on the brink of actually being good. So I haven't really been keeping up with the current anime season. The only things I have been watching were Frieren and Undead Unlock, and with those two finally over, I figured it was time to crawl out of my cave and try something new. Going with my easily impressionable brain, I chose the shiniest looking anime out there, which just so happened to be Bucchigiri, and I kind of low-key regret it. Right from the start, the anime catches your eye with incredibly striking visuals that merge Japanese and Arabian culture to create such a unique atmosphere I haven't really seen in anime before, and making it even better at the character designs. All the characters, save for the main character, have some top tier designs that are so nice and stylish to look at, the one really carrying being this guy, who honestly steals the show whenever he's on screen. And since this is being done by Mappa, the animation does not slouch at all. Action scenes are often accented with these thick black outlines that really help the action feel bold and impactful, making it all the more exciting. It does have moments where the animation really picks up, treating us to some amazingly fluid hand-to-hand combat, though these action scenes are few and far between, so if you want to watch the anime just for the action and animation, I wouldn't recommend it. And people of the internet, this is where all my praise for this series comes to an end. The good things about it just aren't enough to outweigh the bad, and there are a lot of bad things about the anime. But wait, what is this anime even about? Okay, our main character, Arjun, gets possessed by the ghost of a guy named Senya. Senya is what they call a honky. What's that? Basically a warrior with pure hearts who has dedicated themselves to mastering the martial arts. Pretty simple, Senya sort of acts as a genie offering to grant Arjun's wish through fusion, but what is Arjun's wish? To get laid, much to Senya's dismay. So the two reluctant partners get into all kind of hijinks in their delinquent high school, Arjun using the power of Senya to punch dudes so hard they fall in love with him. But it isn't just boys throwing hands, as we also have a bit of interpersonal drama between Arjun and his childhood friend Matakara, who seems way too delusional about the kind of person Arjun is, holding on to the idealized version of him from long ago. The drama between them serves as the true plot of the series, with everything else being secondary. From that alone, you can probably predict how this series will end. If what I've described for you so far sounds like your cup of tea, then by all means go ahead and watch it. However, if it's one thing you're absolutely going to hate, it will be Arjun himself. The fact that someone like him is the main character is an absolute travesty. And since he's the one we spend the most time with, it doesn't get any better. He's a selfish dumbass that never once listens to or considers anyone else. You'd think that hey, maybe this is a character flaw that he learns to overcome as the story goes on, but 8 episodes in and he's still doing the same thing. It also doesn't help that this is sort of played for comedic purposes, so it makes it even more annoying. The one girl he sims over has told him on several occasions that she doesn't like him, she doesn't want anything to do with him, and is openly hostile towards him. But not once does he ever listen to a damn thing she's saying and chooses to interpret it in an entirely different way. This guy gets annoying by the second episode. Pretty much his driving force is trying to win this girl's affection so that he can score, playing into his whole wish of wanting to lose his V card, and it's played off for laughs but completely forgets to, actually make it funny. Arjun is a spineless coward that doesn't want anything to do with the anime story as a whole, but always seems to get roped into it through either some misunderstanding or thinking with his dick, and this is something that gets incredibly repetitive from episode to episode. And the cherry on top, pun intended, is that when he's faced with any kind of intense situation, he gets the runs and flees to the nearest toilet, and he does this over and over again. It wasn't funny the first time, and it never will be. Him, and I guess the rest of the cast, are nothing but one-dimensional, which in turn makes them unmemorable. Like the one girl he has a crush on has one personality trait, and that's having a brother complex to such an unhealthy degree. Her brother being the guy who leads one of the school gangs and is also obsessed with Arjun. So you know what this means? We have a very weird love triangle that doesn't work at all. The only other character that tries to be a character and it's honestly this anime's saving grace, is Matakara, Arajin's childhood friend. Matakara is one of the better written characters in the series. A low bar, yes, but it makes the series almost bearable. The friction between him and Arajin is something he's oblivious to, holding on to the childhood memory of the two and blindly believing Arajin despite watching him be a selfish asshole most of the time. It creates an interesting dynamic between the two, but too bad. The moment the anime seems like it wants to do something with these characters, it remembers it needs to try and be funny and brings the development to a screeching halt. The anime tries too hard to be funny, shoving its humor down your throat with uninspiring and repetitive jokes that just ruin whatever momentum the story was trying to pick up, which in turn brings down the series as a whole. There's this one gag that happens every episode that involves a man that has no real relationship with the main cast. He loiters around what appears to be an escort lounge, I think that's what they're called, and hurriedly rushes in at the sight of one of the main characters passing by. It's in there he sheepishly picks out a girl he wants to hang out with, and we get a one-sided conversation between him and the chosen girl. But you can probably see where this is going. I bet you that by the end of the series, they'll reveal to us that this was actually a cat cafe all along. But this gag is always so self-contained, I can't help but wonder why it was in there in the first place, and it just feels like it's something to pad out the runtime, considering it's pretty much the same animation every episode. Honestly, it's a shame that this series turned out the way it did. I kept watching because it felt like it was constantly on the edge of turning around and actually being good, but with 10 episodes in, it doesn't seem very likely that's the case. I guess this is another anime original that suffers from the anime original curse. And to prove my point on just how underwhelming the anime is, the Mappa meat writers have been suspiciously quiet about the anime since it started airing. Let that sink in. But hey, at least it's a decent way to kill time if you want to watch with friends, but for me, I wouldn't really recommend the anime that much. But let me know what you guys think about Bucchigiri. As always, this has been your very favorite slice of bread. Stay toasty.